So did y'all hear about the snake shots getting disabled in
you would
Warzone?
flame
Switch
him
up
if
the
you were there.
vibe, and I absolutely
Bro,
fucking
you
whiffed.
can't go from a juicy topic
I
to
fucking
Warzone
whiffed,
laying
bro.
down. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying? Like that's just
I-
not. You gotta
I
be more
whiffed.
critical. That's
How
why
many-
I
how
host.
many
That's why
games
I
of
be
Warzone?
hosting, bruh.
Have you even played?
I fucking whiffed.
You know
Wait,
what
how
I
many
mean?
games of Warzone have you even played, Ben?
I played a lot, bro. Sam and I played
Oh, okay.
fucking like, I mean,
Nah, he plays.
Okay, I
he
didn't
plays
know
Warzone.
you were grinding
Nah,
Warzone.
Warzone's actually been pretty good. Low cap.
fun.
It's been fun. Like even watching it, because it's not as big. The map is not as big, and things are more. The map is also laid out pretty good. Like it's not bad.
Do y'all agree with like what Huskers? I think I saw Huskers was like tweeting out like his major complaints. He said,
What was some of his complaints?
"Oh
What was
yeah,
he
yeah.
saying?
All right, the new Warzone is great, but it's time to address the pressing issues. Audio is the worst it's ever been in any BR in history.
Correct.
The TTK is way too quick.
Mm,
The gulag visibility sucks, and the server lag is back."
okay. Well, doesn't sound like they're very happy over there. Also, somebody said that I don't know what snake shots is. Aren't those the dualies? The fucking little
the
shotgun
dual
pistols?
magnums.
It's like those
Yeah,
little
they-
fucking shotgun pistols. I know what that is, bro. Come on, I'm fucking cultured, bro.
yeah, it's been bad the last 24 hours in Warzone. I'm glad they fixed it. And
They
stuff.
fixed audio. Apparently, people were saying they fixed it.
They did not.
So what
I mean,
now?
they
most
patched
certainly
it.
did not.
It's still bad.
What's
Yeah,
the
audio's
meta?
still mid. Well, it was the fucking MTZ, Fast B, and the fucking Snake Shot. Now that's at it. So it's probably just the fucking MTZ and the Fast B now. And if you want a little
In the
more
swarm.
in the Swarm, if you want a little bit more in your sub, a little bit more fucking movability.
Is the MTZ still G8 by the pros?
Yeah.
Eh.
It's the MTG or the MTZ interceptor in Warzone, though, the marksman rifle.
What's up,
okay,
Ace?
You
so
get
they
you
are.
two-shot people if you hit the head, literally 2 bullets.
Did I just hear Asim?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
What's good, Asim? What's good, kid? Yo, Slay, what'd you think about all the drama today?
Well, I want to get clarity. So Seth's YouTube stream got copyright striked, right? Not his Twitch stream. He just turned his
Yeah.
Twitch stream off.
I think he just
Yeah.
turned his Twitch stream off. Yeah, he
Okay,
told Ryan
okay,
to cut
that
it.
makes more sense to me. Okay, I was gonna say because there's no basis for them to DMCA or copyright strike his Twitch stream. They couldn't do that. Like
Okay.
Twitch would not honor
Bro,
that.
So-
the way it
so-
all went down, I thought they literally shut him down, like turned his streams
Yeah,
off.
same. I thought so too.
Bro, both his streams went down, and everybody was saying like free Scump, and I was like, what happened? So he got hit with a strike on YouTube, and then he took down his Twitch stream, and then what? They went offline on YouTube, or does the stream go offline?
If they copyright it, it
turned
goes
his.
off.
Oh, okay.
It
So
goes-
they
it
turned.
goes-
Okay.
So,
So they-
so I want
that makes sense. That makes sense.
I want to ask
Alright,
Pat
Bush.
this question. I want to ask Pat this
You're out,
question.
Sam?
You've known.
Yeah, I'm out.
Later,
Later,
brother.
Sam.
I'll see y'all
Later, Sam.
Sunday. I'm
Later,
off
Sam.
tomorrow as well.
Have a
Later,
good
brother.
Saturday, bro.
Peace out,
Later,
man.
boys.
Peace out.
Later.
You obviously like kind of know the Optic as well. You might know Seth's tendencies. Like, what do you think they're gonna? What do you think their next move is now?
Great
Well,
question.
they're gonna have to talk to the league, which is what I thought they were
Yeah.
doing.
I'm honestly surprised that and maybe this has happened, but I'm more surprised that there hasn't been talks on the YouTube end with Seth signing like an exclusive deal to stream there. That's what I honestly when I first heard the rumors of the YouTube going to be exclusive for CDO in this year.
Yeah.
I was assuming that Seth was going to
YouTube was gonna
sign one
scoop
of those
him.
exclusive deals. He would stop streaming on Twitch entirely, like Courage and a lot of other creators have done.
Yeah.
So I was surprised by that as a whole, and now I'm kind of like wondering if, maybe those were talks and the amount of money wasn't right, and so Seth is still going to do his thing. But yeah, I mean, if Activision is going to be this strong arm about it, then I'm curious what will happen because. I mean,
You
dude, I
need
don't
them
see it.
up,
I-
Slay. Like,
yes,
Slay,
yeah,
Pat,
you
you
have to,
need-
you have
you
to
have to
find
make
a
them
world
happy.
where it exists with the big creators in it, like no matter what.
Here's
Yeah.
well,
You
here's
see,
why I'm
You
very-
see Doug's dumbass take? Or no?
Yeah,
What
that
did
was
Doug say?
crazy,
hold on,
bro.
before
Take
we get
was
to Doug-
terrible.
Before we get to the Doug take, because I think we're gonna have a big conversation. Here's why I'm curious. Can I give you my perspective, Tom?
Of course, Ben. Go
And
ahead.
Seth's talked about this. Like he is not.
course,
He
yeah.
doesn't like the drama on stream. Like he is like I'm gonna handle that business off stream. The problem is they have intention or not create a situation where they've got to address this somehow publicly. So I'm very curious what their
Yeah.
next public.
I mean,
move is
Ben,
to
that's what
address
I
this.
said on Friday when we got hit with an email 30 minutes before.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they can't get mad at me for saying something publicly because they hit me with all this shit while I was live. So it's
So you gotta
like
say something,
I
yeah.
have to say something. If I can't show gameplay, if I can't do this, I have to say something.
Also,
So-
this is very rare. Like it hasn't happened in a long time where Optic is getting the short end of the stick, like Optic and Seth. Like for the most part, if you look back in history, like even when we did the MLG TV stuff, like they all went there. Like,
Yeah.
they've always been in a situation where they weren't affected by this. So this is like one of those few times where it's impacting them. And I mean, even in the past, I feel like they've been pretty passive on this stuff and, not social or vocal about it publicly enough. So
Yeah.
I'm curious if that changes here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see like what ends up happening with it now. I mean, now I don't even kind of know where the situation is at. I would love to talk to like Seth and Zinni and them.
Do you think he knew going into today? Like, do you think he knew he was just testing it to see what would happen?
Well, I mean,
mean,
a lot of people. I told Seth what I was doing before he went live. 100%. 100%.
It was very so. We
But-
got an
but-
email.
Ben, before you go,
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
to add on to that, Pat, like also at the same time though, Pat, like we're kind of different situations. Like my talks can be different than his talks, right? So I never really know like what they want to do.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm wondering if he knew. Like,
Yeah,
if he
right.
got
And
the
I
same
never
type of
want to be
warning.
that guy where I'm like, yo, Seth, well, what are they saying to you? That yada yada yada. Like,
Yeah,
you
right.
know, it's not my business. It's his business. So like,
You're,
go
ahead.
no, I was gonna say for me, you see how it keeps fucking just.
My bad. Lock in. My bad.
Let me go to Scump's Twitter.
So he's like, I can't speak for them, but I do know, Slayer, that like for me and like Seth and Zin knew this. Like I got hit with threats, bro. Like they literally told me like after this weekend we let you fly for this weekend, meaning the first week of matches that we just had. They were like, we'll let you fly for this, but like after this, man, like if you're gonna continue to do this, that you're gonna get a DMCA strike, or your account will get striked.
Yeah.
And like this is just something that the league said to me, right? So I was like, I was under just the impression that the league said that to Seth, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Because I don't know who they're talking to. I thought that they were talking to them this week, but I guess not.
Here's my thing. You and I got a very strong email on Saturday. It was clearly last Saturday. It was clearly written by a lawyer, and I thought it was. There's no ambiguity in the email that was sent to us about the punishment for streaming on Twitch during matches if you were also live on YouTube. There was no ambiguity on what would happen. It was very clear. If you did that, here's the things that would happen. And I would assume that either, because we don't know, but I'm assuming, because I would be mind blown if this wasn't the case. I'd be super mind blown if this information was communicated to either the talent on the Scump Watch Party or their agents that they are attached to. So I do think that theoretically, they would know the consequences of the actions that they were taking. I would say theoretically. Now here's my
They could have just tried to stand on business.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Could, and we'll say again. Now they've created a situation. This is why I'm very curious what Optic's going to do. Where I know they don't like addressing like the drama like that on stream, but between some of that, like they've got to say something. I would think, or they can.
Nah,
ignore
listen, bro, I think you're kind of capping it. I know they don't like to talk about drama, but like even on their podcast, like Hector and Seth aren't afraid to like show how they truly feel sometimes, bro. Like they've never really been one. Like if they have to address something, they will, bro. Like if they feel the need to address something, they'll address it. And I think, and I don't know if they're gonna just do it like on Twitter and shit. Like they might just talk about it in a podcast and just like keep her naturally and just like say what's going on. But I mean, I'm sure that they're getting on the phones now after everything that happened today. There's no way.
They've probably been on the phone for hours.
Which I thought that would have all been. I thought that was all handled this week. You know, like I don't know. For me, Ben, after the first weekend, I was like, I'm calling everybody. What is going on? You know what I mean?
Before the first weekend, when the Friday shit happened.
It was happening in the middle of the weekend.
Before the Friday shit happened on Tuesday, I feel like we ended that Tuesday
but you know how it is on weekends. Like, a lot of people aren't in office, and nobody can talk till Monday.
Before all this shit on Friday, the Tuesday conversation we had was pretty close to the top of the conversation that we can get. And then on Friday, the conversation we had, we then got back on the phone and tried to. Your point, the problem is then over the weekend, it became this whole fucking song and dance. And then we finally got back on the phone with them in a good sense earlier this week. And then
what do you think happens tomorrow?
With Optic, that is
I'm sure.
Do you think they even stream at all?
He should be. I have no idea. I don't really know what their thought process is behind this whole situation. I haven't talked to them.
They haven't, and rightfully so. I think they probably have been told by counsel and people to be like, let's take a pause before we, other than just memeing on Twitter about it, which we've seen some associated Optic people do, and their Twitter accounts kind of meme about it. Before they make like any kind of public statement, I think they're probably taking a pause. To
Bro,
figure out what to do.
I wouldn't be surprised if Seth goes live tomorrow and they announce some like Optic tournament and they just run it that day and Seth streams on Twitch during the matches.
Like an Optic tournament, that would be insane. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
This is where it gets tricky. Like again,
I don't think they're gonna do that though.
I don't want to presume to know, but like let's game plan out sort of ramifications of keeping with what I would call like a war stance, like a litigation stance. Is there are a couple of levers that the league could pull on them that are, potentially punitive. One is take away their ability to YouTube watch party at all, which I think they probably won't do, as that'll be a last resort.
They're not gonna do that.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
No.
I think other things they could theoretically do is take away their ability to activate at events, either with the watch party or other activations they're planning on doing, which would have ramifications for any sponsor or partners, things that Optic are doing as part of their deal. So I do think there are ways now where this can get very complicated. So that's why I'm very curious if cooler heads are going to prevail here. Everybody's going to take 12 hours and cool down and then get on the phone and be like, okay, this is, we all need to figure this out and let's get back to a good spot. Or if they're going to continue on sort of the front foot stance here and really take it to Activision. I generally just have no idea which way they want to go here.
Yeah, I don't know. And today there was just a lot going on. Again, I don't know why this always happens, but every time we go live, something
always
just
happens on a Friday.
Oh, the last week,
and it happens like while we're live. So it's like I'm in the middle of just streaming, like talking. It changes the whole vibe and energy of the stream. Now it's like, holy fuck, what the fuck just happened? And I feel like I don't have time to like breathe and like actually like think. You know what I mean? Like what's actually happening? What's going on? Like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Like I was talking to Seth and Zin, like I was talking to the league, like I was like how, where, when, like I was just had so many questions, like I just don't know what the fuck's going on. So it's like, and then I see Doug tweeting dumb shit, and that shit pissed me off. I was like low key regaining, and I was like, whatever, I'll just talk to Seth and Zin later and see what the hell's going on. And then fucking Doug tweets some crazy shit. And I was like, bro, what?
The video.
Tom, it's okay. I slammed them in practice for you.
There you go.
Oh, wait, is it my thoughts on the Scump Zoomaa CDL stuff?
Yeah, hold on. You want to watch it together real quick, Pat? Here, let's watch it together.
Watch it together.
Because I'm down to rewatch it. And then I would love to get your thoughts, Slay. I'm at 0. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
I'll watch
3, 2, 1, boom.
Hey guys, so I just want to follow up on this last tweet about Scump getting his DMCA. Do I think he should get copyrighted for that? Hell no. He should not get copyrighted for that. I think that's lame, and I think that's whack. But I also think it's kind of whack that, and I love Seth and Zoomaa, they both deserve the success that they have, and I absolutely am in their corner for it. But if they're just sitting on a couch all day long making millions with their feet up and not paying an operating cost to show the product of the league that pays a lot of money to operate, that's not right either. So I think that's why this is all happening right now, because it always comes down to money and greed, right? Like that's how it always is. So I just feel there has to be some sort of a way where, like, if you want to do an official watch party for the league, you should be paying a licensing fee to the league to do the watch party. It's just the way it should be. And if the league is selling the watch party numbers to get a bigger exclusive deal, then those people that are contributing to those numbers should also get paid too. I just feel like all that stuff is kind of common sense, but most people I feel don't really understand all these things. But the idea of using a product that costs millions to operate without having to pay any of those fees and profiting millions off of it also isn't right either. So there has to be a middle ground with all of it. And I think that they're all going to find a middle ground in it, because Scump, Zoomaa, and COD League all want to thrive and all want to do well and all want to grow. And I think that between those three, they're doing something really, really special. And they should keep on just doing the watch parties, just keep on funneling everything. But it always ultimately comes down to money. So that's why I'm just super curious, because even with Monday Night Football and the NFL and the Manning brothers, they're not doing it on their own YouTube channels, getting so many views and subs for their own channels to leverage with other brand opportunities. They're doing it on Monday Night Football. They're doing it on ESPN, who pays for the rights for the NFL. Do you see what I'm saying here, guys? So I'm very curious to see how this is all going to work out with gaming, and let me know what you guys think, too. I'm going to go back to scrims. Peace out.
And then Asim slammed. He said he's going to go back to scrims. You heard him? Slammed.
Yeah. Then I slammed him.
Dude, like, that logic just doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, the Manning brothers are also getting paid a fuck ton to do that.
Millions.
Like,
millions.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't really make sense. At the end of the day, I mean, like, you could, if he wanted to use that argument, he could use that for anything. Like, you should have to pay to stream Call of Duty. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the same logic. It doesn't apply here. And I think the problem too is, like, you're also, yeah, you're profiting off watch parties, but you're also promoting their product for free. Like for free, you're promoting their product. You profiting off of it is almost part of that promotion that they would pay you otherwise. Bro, Activision has like, think about champs. They TP and like all these creators that never do watch parties, they pay them to watch the big events.
Yeah, they do.
Like Nick Merckx was one, TP, Courage, like they were paying them thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to watch party those big events. So it's like the logic doesn't really make sense. Like they're not paying you to watch party. You're doing it for free. So yeah, you would expect to be able to profit off of it the same way. Like
I also just hate the way that he mentioned millions and numbers sitting on the couch. It's like, bro, like there was a time where I streamed to 30 viewers for like 10 years. This is what I was saying before, Pat. Like, it's not like we got here from just watching COD. Like we had to do a lot.
You're promoting it to your audience that exists, whether you do watch parties or not.
Right. Like I've been streaming for forever. So it's like when he says it like that, it's just like, I get what he's saying. I just hated the way he said it. Like, I was like, bro, come on, bro.
Misunderstanding the point of watch parties in esports. This isn't the Pat McAfee situation with the NFL highlights where you have to write a check at the end, Tom. This is, and it's not, I don't want it to be misconstrued. It is clear. If you read the watch party program stuff, it's the same thing in Valorant. It's the same thing in LCS. It's the same thing for Worlds in League of Legends. The same thing in Apex. It's about, on their end, their goal is to engage parts of the community who don't necessarily tune into these league matches, these events. These are creators not necessarily watching with it. That's the way they want to experience content, and they want to bring those people in so they can get the fringe viewers that are not tuning in the mainstream to watch. They can improve viewership.
And I want to say this real quick. Like, I also think it's important. Like, one thing I will agree with Doug is he's like, they need to find a middle ground. And it's like, yeah, like that's all it really comes down to at the end of the day is like meeting and finding a middle ground. Like, that's kind of like where we're at least I feel like, Ben, we've gone on my end. Like, I've been talking to people and they've been talking to me and everything's been good and our relationships have been good. Our comms have been good comms, comms right now. You know what I mean? But it's like, originally there was no middle ground. Like, we're here now and we're talking, but as of right now, or I won't say right now, but beforehand, Ben, there was no middle ground. There was just, we kind of just got thrown into this during the live.
I also feel like they kind of like screwed both of you guys over by doing this last minute, right? Like, they've known for however long that they've been planning to do this exclusive deal with YouTube. Like, we've had a 7-month off season. Like, they've known it's been being planned. The fact that these convos weren't happening prior is also part of the biggest problem, because by doing it last minute, it basically is just strong-arming you into like, oh, well, it is what it is. You're going to do it and we're going to move on. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you can even worse, have time to find a middle ground, because that should have been done the whole time during the deal.
Because we had a conversation last Tuesday. There was like, we were thinking things would go X. And then we had a conversation on Tuesday where they confirmed that X is what was going to happen. So Tom and I got on the phone afterwards. We're like, I bet, we didn't get everything we want in this situation, but what we were thinking was going to happen happened, and we can continue what we're planning. And then we got called an hour before match and said, well, remember the thing we told you X about on Tuesday? It's actually Y. And Y is a complete 180, and it also includes Z. And then Z was obviously not saying that we can show fucking gameplay on the flank on Twitch. And luckily earlier this week, they kind of walked that back, which is nice. But I agree. It's been a mess on their end.
Look,
and
bro,
I don't know if that's YouTube putting pressure on them.
No, bro. This was clearly deliberate, bro. And anyone who doesn't think this is deliberate is delusional.
Why did someone say, why is Aches making so much sense today?
Pat's been speaking facts about this issue since the beginning. Bro, Pat instantly put in our DM chat the fucking truth last Friday. Like, I think he's on point.
People are getting behind you, Slayer.
Oh, about what YouTube was planning? Yeah, I think it's been deliberate since day one. Like, and the fact, it's sad too, the fact that they like used you guys to sell this deal and then basically fuck you over at the right before it starts and lie to you along the whole way. It doesn't surprise me, bro. It's Activision. It doesn't surprise me, but it's still pathetic, and it's so anti-community.
I don't think anything is gonna really change that much either.
I don't either. Not this year.
Nah, like next weekend, like tomorrow or next weekend, it's just gonna go. We're just gonna be live on YouTube for the matches, and then I don't know what Seth and Zin are gonna do in terms of their show and stuff like that, but like we're just gonna do. I'm doing everything on Twitch, bro. Everything I do during the week is Twitch. All the shows are on Twitch.
Yeah.
Everything is Twitch except for
The
watch parties. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as far as going to events, like we really need to talk about that. Like that's kind of what I'm talking with the league with right now. Is like, okay, well for events, you know, I could just stay home, right? And because think about everything that we fund for events. I gotta fund everybody's flights, hotels, fucking equipment, boom, Pepsi, this and that. We gotta do a lot of things, and we gotta sit down. We gotta find a good spot, get security.
We fly out of
We gotta
photography usually.
like we spend a lot of money to go to these events. We spend thousands, a lot of cash to go there.
And
So
we
it's
usually
like-
get a sponsor or partner, Tom. You know what I mean? But like to your point, like they are
Yeah.
expensive. If, for example, and I
It's
want to shout out
expensive.
I want to shout out something. CDL franchises have come to us and said, "Hey, we really want you guys at these events. We will cover your electrical vendor costs to get your, you know, at convention centers to get those plugs turned on. Internet costs for their vendor. We're going to cover that on our own dime. Y'all need TVs. Y'all need computers. Y'all need equipment, keyboard, mice. We got you. Whatever you guys need." Every event hosted we have worked with, Optic, Toronto, Boston. Who have I missed at a hosted event in the past? I probably missed somebody. They've all been really good, the org side and the league as well, as far as figuring out that cost between all of the parties. And they've taken a lot of costs off our books. But to your point, Tom, with moving to the YouTube exclusive, there's a revenue gap that we need to figure out. And I'm glad that Activision is engaging, you know, with our group to try and figure that out so we can find a world where we can go to events and it's do good by our sponsors and partners, do good by the show, but also do good for us. What are you saying? Why are you laughing? I'm spitting facts. What the fuck are we doing?
I just read something.
I just read in the chat. and
No,
it
you
made
don't
me giggle. I'm
You just check the fuck out of
No,
me,
bro,
bro.
I
You
see
just
what you're
check the fuck
saying.
out
No,
of me.
I see what you're saying. I get it.
Nah, you check the fuck out of
Bro,
me, bro.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. It's
Nah,
just,
nah,
I agree
nah,
with
you're
you,
just
bro.
gonna-
No, I had to do. I had to do.
You completely and utterly lost me, bro.
No, I didn't lose, bro. Come on, bro. Don't be like that, man. I blame Asim. He made me laugh. He made me laugh, bro.
I read the same thing.
I was just reading people were spamming in the chat. Like it was just funny. It was just hilarious.
Nah, fuck the. Nah, chat's fucking whatever, dude.
Nah, bro. You're right though, man. You're right. You're
No, you
spitting.
said it back.
Like Ben, I'm gonna be honest. You've been spitting all night. Even on the flank, you were spitting.
I know.
On all your takes, bro.
I've been
You're
in my
spitting
bag
good.
today.
You're in your fucking bag today, bro.
I was like fucking Giannis the other night where he had to score 60 points.
Yeah, nah, bro. I'm telling you, you've been on one today, but I like it. Like, bro, today on the show, Ben was hitting good takes as well, bro. The invasion cross and picking up crosses and this, bro. Ben was on point, bro. It's fucking Benjay, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, like, you see Vals? He said Benji's been in his bag all day long. All day
I wanted
long.
to really quickly, probably the last thing we talk about. Did you really pulled the Adam episode tweets, but I don't think you went through them. Adam made up a good point. I think like there are other points Adam makes about like the grifters in esports,
pulled
the
them
VC
up.
money, like the Richard Lewis convoy is really interesting if you check that out. But I think Adam's point to me that I think is most important and with this esports winner thing is like there is going to be a cost correction in the space, but it's going to come at the goal of trying to be more community and growth focused. And like I agree with Adam, when you kind of go down this path where you force yourself to take a YouTube deal, you're getting away from the sort of issue, which is like we should have as open of a system as possible. Participation should be a key focus, driving people path to pro. Most importantly, people should be able to consume content the way they want to consume. If that's on Twitch or that's YouTube, that's fucking TikTok, figure it out. Restricting people in the way that they do content and getting in fucking public fights with their biggest creators is absolutely not a way to do it.
Well, which is why I said I think it was like the first flank we did about this. I was like, dude, this YouTube exclusive deal just screams like it is screaming to me that a team buyout is coming at the end of the season. Like that's it like that to me is all this means. Like I even last year when they like announced that they were doing this, like they're going to both, like they realized they were making a mistake. They want everybody to be able to watch. Like I feel like the CEO voiced that opinion, and to me, walking it back by signing this deal just screams that the Overwatch League buyout is coming at the end of the year.
Which will be great for us because you know what's going to happen is a bunch of the orgs that haven't really given it a fucking go since the beginning other than LAG, and we talked about that situation to death, will probably get out. We're going to keep some of the new orgs like a Toronto Ultra that will stay and invest, maybe in New York Subliners.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston. And we might go back to a partner. We might go to a partner system like you see with HES. We'll go back to an open ecosystem, and things will actually get fucking better in that. They
I
will
think-
get fucking better.
I think everything gets better in terms of like there'll probably be
Microphone
open
muted.
events again with
P-Dog getting
challengers involved.
dropped.
Yeah.
It's too
I
early.
think the negatives are like
Microphone
prize money's going to
activated.
go down,
Well, so that's where it gets interesting.
player
is,
salaries go down.
They've already
salaries
gone
are down.
down. Player salaries have
salaries are-
already gone down.
They'll go down again. Here's
Well,
the
even for
prize
the
money.
superstars.
A lot of pros
Here's-
got a pay cut this year, by the way.
That
A
was
lot of
terrible,
pros.
terrible fucking name from Draws there.
Terrible.
Uh,
Terrible.
Let's say that I'm gonna ask you this, Pat. This is where it gets interesting, right? Let's game plan this out because I legit don't know, right? We can all assume if the CDL is going to vendor out, right? If they're going to say, look, we're going to downsize our team,
Microphone muted.
someone will come
Yeah,
on and run
somebody
it.
said
The
not
only real
Pred. Yeah.
game in Western America,
That's
Western
hilarious.
world right now, other than PGL and their
Microphone
small
activated.
potatoes, is ESL Faceit Group. So to your point, if
Which is
Activision's-
Esports Engine too.
which is
now.
Esports Engine, which is Savvy Gaming Group, which is the PIF. It's Saudi Arabia, right? Are they going to get into a commercial agreement with Activision? And included in that commercial agreement, will the Saudis potentially take some of the infinite fucking billions that they have and maybe keep the prize money propped up? Is
Shit,
that sort of
that'd be
the
fire.
trade that
I
happens?
mean, in reality though, like
Yeah.
Halo, they're already doing it with Halo, right? And like now,
The Saudis in there.
Microsoft owns COD and Halo, so like, you got to think like, it was different before, but now I feel like they're in the same ecosystem where it's like if they're already doing it for Halo, there's nothing stopping them from doing the same thing with COD, like nothing at
Oh,
all.
but take it to the bro. This is where like people got it. Let's see the 1,000 fucking IQ right now, dude.
Oh, here we go.
If we get in that situation, you're going to see combo Call of Duty and Halo events. You're going to see more like we saw with Raleigh, more combo COD Mobile, CDL.
I mean,
or
that's
CWL,
fine. That's
CDL.
what should have happened. That's
Yeah,
what
it
should have
shoulda
always
from the
happened.
begin with.
Bro, we used
You're
to
gonna
have
see more
combo
synergy.
events with StarCraft, League of Legends, Dota. Like they
Smash,
used to literally be
like-
every game in the same
Yeah.
building. That shit was sick. The problem though, I think, and that we haven't talked about is, you know, I think what the one, and it wasn't a lot. Let's not pretend. But the one benefit of the CDL is at least it got developers a little bit more like forced to do stuff. And I feel like with the CDL ending, that could also completely go back to how it was. Like, I know a lot of the fans are new, but dude, like back in the day,
Oh, it
the
was bad.
devs almost ignored that the pro
Bro.
community even existed. Like it,
Yeah.
it wasn't even on their
played a
radar.
game-
They didn't give
We
a
played a game in
fuck
Ghost where they couldn't figure out
We couldn't plant the
how to
bomb.
online or land, not make it glitchy. You couldn't
No,
plant
we,
the
we,
bomb.
we couldn't plant the
No,
bomb.
that was-
Like we literally
that
should have
was
won
fucking
back-to-back events, but we couldn't plant the
You couldn't
bomb.
plant the bomb.
So we had to reset the map, and then we ended up losing the map. If we would have
dude.
won the event.
That's
we
why
would've
I
won the
think there
event.
are- listen, if the Activision Blizzard team does get
Unbelievable.
esports team does get downsized, there are a couple of key people. I don't want to name those people because I don't want to. But
crazy.
you guys know what I'm talking about. Who I hope that they keep on because they are. And I hate to use this phrase because you are worse for me, like the connective tissue
Oh,
in making the development
Oh,
conversations a lot
Benwood.
easier.
Oh.
wow, connective tissue.
Yeah, but I mean those are
Phenomenal.
the downsides, and you know, like, I think at the end of the day, I don't see a world where the CDL as is a thing at the end of this season. I think this is the last season of the CDL.
I would assume so, but I could see maybe one more season if something's happened. But
What's-
unlikely.
What's interesting too is like the transition period, right? Like, let's just call it League Y, right?
Yeah.
Going from CDL to League Y, how the contracts are going to work, because the contracts that are currently signed are CDL specific contracts,
muted.
right?
Chat,
And
Yeah.
some of them are on 1+1.
I'm gonna do whatever I gotta
But
do to
it's
try and
like,
keep COD alive,
if-
bro. I
if
don't give
that
a
ends,
fuck.
If the CDL ends, how, you know,
I'm not
is
leaving.
every player a free
Yeah.
agent? Is
So
every
I'm not
player?
what I
leaving.
would say is any team. So if you transition to a partner thing, I think the partner agreements would be contingent on some exclusivity period to anybody that was under contract with their CDL, Oregon, and Activision. So I think they would give, if you don't want to be in the partner program,
Microphone
like
muted.
there's going to be like protections so that
I'm
people
not
don't get their
fucking
players
leaving.
poached within a certain period of time. That would make sense as a
Maybe.
compromise,
We
right?
need COD to be the
Maybe.
biggest
I mean, it was
esport in the
interesting
world,
when
period.
we transitioned to the
And
CDL.
we're gonna get it there.
Right, like basically they were contracted to the org and they tried to sell buyouts, but like there was a lot of
Match, leave it a 5.
there was a lot of
baby.
loopholes.
That's what I'm talking
Let's
about.
just say.
FaZe
There-
Clan
there
sold
are-
like
but-
20 people.
Yeah, well, we made a lot of money, but there are
Zoomaa,
well, we made insane money on buyouts,
the
but
What are you
Zoomaa
dummies
patch,
doing?
everyone.
there was a lot. It
Is
was
that
like
Damon fucking Barlow?
What are you guys
Oh
doing?
man.
BB3. What's good, David?
If it ain't the
What
one
are you
and
guys
only.
doing?
We're just sitting here bullshitting, bro, yapping.
Tom's whose streamer you're watching right now?
Big Bruzy.
Watching a little Dashupov.
Yeah.
Why has he got the NYSL camo on?
I was just gonna ask that.
That's a fire camo though.
It's kind of fire. Is that NY?
Where are they on the CDL account?
It looked like it.
If they're on the
I
CDL
don't
account,
think
it's
that's
like one of the
NYSL,
only.
or is
It's
it?
like one of the only camos.
That work?
Are you allowed to stream
Oh,
on
wow.
the CDL account? That's actually a good
Yeah,
question.
you
I
can
don't
play
know.
on it. You can
Yeah,
play on
we
it.
can stream. We've been streaming on it for like 3-4 years.
But I think getting back to your combo, Pat, I do think that there are mechanical ways where they can prevent the situation you're talking about, where players don't lapse contract and can just it's a fucking free for all. You know what I'm saying? That orgs that transition from CDL to maybe becoming a partner team have protection for players that are contracted or just expiring off a contract.
Yeah, but
I
Ben,
will say
the
player
thing
rights
is,
might get fucked in this though. The
the
players,
thi-
unfortunately, will maybe have no say in this
yeah,
whatsoever.
but think about it. Oh no, they definitely won't.
They're gonna get
I don't
fucked.
think
They're
there's a
gonna get
maybe.
fucked. Yeah.
But dude, like the thing is, all these deals are 1+1s, right? In reality,
No, some of them are 2+1s now.
okay, well, same thing. In reality, it's like let's say the player just hardballs and like doesn't want to stay on whatever team, and you know, basically what I'm saying is no org is going to be able to afford to continue paying that player. Like even if they try and hardball it, like through this period where you're saying like, oh, they have to re-sign him to a new deal right away. Like this is why I was saying there's a ton of loopholes in this. Like contractually, that team still has to pay that player, and
Well,
so it's like if that player is just like, I'm not playing, I'm not signing a new deal with you. That team's just gonna have to cut bait or continue paying them that ridiculous amount of money.
So I'm gonna give you this. I can see a world, and this will have a huge community uproar. And I am not supportive of this decision, where it ends up like the RFA situation in hockey. Whereas if you have restricted free agent rights, and you tender someone a deal, they don't sign it, and they don't get an offer, and they don't sign said offer, like then they are just restricted for a year, and they're just fucked.
But they
So,
would have
like,
to get paid. It wouldn't matter. They'd still have to get paid.
Not,
Like,
not necessarily because
Wait,
you
yeah,
might
you
have
could,
their.
because then you could say that the org is breaching contract by not paying you. It's the same thing. Like
Yeah, but
unless
a player, you
there's
would say the player wouldn't be eligible to play a circuit because of the exclusivity restrictions. Now, I think the player could
it wouldn't
sue.
matter.
So
yeah,
this where-
that's
this
what
is where
I'm
it gets-
saying.
The player
if
could
they don't
sue,
pay them,
and I
they're-
think they would have a
they're-
court. They'd have a case in court because this becomes a contractual
But
bargain.
no
like a
player
contractual
wants to
bargaining thing.
sue with a lot of these
No,
guys. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
it wouldn't matter.
That's
It wouldn't
the
matter. It's
issue.
very simple.
You
It's
can't.
very
No,
Like,
that's
sue
if-
is not a
you wanna-
fair. It's
you
Well,
wanna
can see an
hold them,
injunction, but
if
yeah.
you want to hold them, you have to pay them what's in their contract. Unless
But
it states that they don't have to pay them if they're on the bench or whatever. If they hold them to that deal, they have to still pay those
Listen.
players whatever their fee
Wait,
is.
who are you suing?
Here's what I'm saying, Pat. If you are,
What?
if you're a player,
Wait, it's not Activision, right? Who you suing? Like, good luck.
Well, that's complicated. But what I would say is, if you are a player right now in the league, and you are, let's say, on the expiring end of your deal, or say you just signed a 2+1, I would make sure that you are comms with your owner over the next 4 or 5 months, because if it comes clear that this is the last year of the CDL in this form, you need to be educated on what your contract rights are the following year. You need to be up to date. You need to try and know that private information
It's
and
not
not
that
find out
complicated, though.
publicly. No, because they might get fucked because they have no say in the situation.
It wouldn't
might
matter
get
though.
screwed.
My point is,
No,
it really doesn't matter because if they're signed to a deal, and that org wants to hold them and try and sell them for a buyout, they have to pay them that whole time. They have to pay them.
Yeah, 100%.
Like here's a good example. I was obviously on Envy at the end of 2019 before the CDL started,
Yeah.
and Envy's option was continue to pay me my salary, which was like
Yeah.
13.5 grand a month or whatever, or they had to let me go. Like I was like, this org is not paying a buyout for me. It's very simple. Either pay me my salary and hold me on your org the entire next year, however long the duration is of my contract, or let me go for free. Like they didn't have an option. It was very cut and dry, and ended up letting me go.
I'm trying to find there's an article that explains the year zero construction rules because they tried to account for this situation, and luckily like it didn't happen to your point. But yes, it was a very weird one for orgs. I could see the same thing happening because they're transitioning off of a system in which the league has to approve every contract to one where they wouldn't be able to do so because there are open teams, there are participant teams, that are not partner teams. They're going to need to have some protections here, and I think important to protect the team so players don't pull some bullshit, but the players need some protections too. They don't get screwed, and I'm worried the players might get.
I think they're getting screwed regardless because,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting screwed
maybe not so
regardless,
much. I mean, dude, the players on the men aren't going to get screwed. I don't think, but the players who aren't on those type of low contracts just get screwed here no matter what.
Mm.
Well, I
They're
thought
gonna
I was
be the
joining
players
something
that want-
interesting. I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about.
We're saying if the CDL ends this year, what a transition period would look like to a new.
Yeah.
with like some of the contracts that people have,
Contracts
Damon,
and-
like how would they
yeah.
transfer and how would some of these orgs be able to keep up and what would happen and yada yada, you know what I mean?
Good question.
Yeah. Or
Because a transition period could be, but I can also just see all contracts being just completely fucking wiped.
that would I don't think the partner orgs will want that to happen. That kills their leverage. They want some protection that they can keep their star players.
Sure,
Or at least have an
but-
or at least have a okay, so one way you could do it, Tom.
But
is
I think it means a lot less than you really think, though.
I mean, to
I
be
know, but-
honest, they'd be saving a lot. They'd probably keep most of these franchise organizations can probably keep up with these most of these contracts, bro.
Here's how I could see it is like
Especially if they won't have that extra payment.
They could have a double or a triple layer like exclusivity period where they have a period where they have the exclusive rights to negotiate with that player. Then they have a period where they have the ability to match said player if they get an offer from any other team, aka like a restricted free agent situation. To Pat's point, I don't know how legal theoretically that would be because this isn't this wouldn't be a franchise league and there's no contractual bargaining agreement. And so I think
I also don't think
theoretically you
there's
could
anything in the
sue.
CDL deals that are, that planned for this
case
event
legally.
too. Like, right? Like,
Oh, 100%. I don't think
CDL
so.
the CDL contracts that are written right now weren't planning for the end of the CDL to occur. So,
Yeah.
but to your point, Ben, the reason I think it's less of an issue is because all the talent is already on the top teams, and
Yeah.
those top teams are the only ones willing to pay top dollar, right, for talent anyway.
Well,
And
Boston's willing to pay, so there are a couple other teams that are like fringe on that, but I get your point.
Maybe though, we don't know if they will in the league Y, right?
Hey,
Hey,
Like,
y'all see that shadow in the TV room?
Yeah,
that shit
that's
was crazy.
Boston's got a decent amount of money, and G2 coming in with Rockers is a bunch of money.
I
It
mean,
might
all
be
the
like
orgs
two
have
other
money.
teams.
It's not about whether you have money. Like,
No, but they'll be willing to spend though.
bro, LAG has money, but they've cut ties to
G2
esports
is
and don't
not
wanna do
getting
it.
Elon
involved.
Musk has
Listen,
money.
G2 came in and merged with V1, obviously to get access to investment from the Wolf family, but they also know what they were getting into with the CDL franchise. I don't expect them to come in and like half-ass fucking investment into their Call of Duty team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think G2 would spend money.
I imagine they were getting into knowing a buyout is coming this year.
Yes.
G2 loves the partnered
but
leagues.
is that buyout money going to go to the Wolf family or go to the G2?
I don't know how that deal was written,
I'll
but
take
Exactly.
But
Just
I
be
imagine
careful of that.
I could see it going to G2 depending on how much equity was given to the V1. Like, think about it. The merger wasn't like a cash deal. It was like V1 got equity in G2.
Yes,
I'm
but
gonna
you don't know
slow
if they,
down
you
while
don't-
I Google these words.
but
man.
as part of that agreement, you don't know if they covered the buyout situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, we don't. But I
They
mean,
might have
I'm
language
sure they
saying where the money
did,
goes.
but I don't know how they did it.
Hey JP, what's going on?
What's good?
But I'm
Hey,
also
Mr.
curious
What's
on
up,
what
JP?
orgs would come
How's it going?
in a partnered league,
Hey, I do
right?
that.
Like, and
Well-
to give context, like, dude, Cloud9, right? They're a massive, great org, but even in the end of Infinite Warfare, going into World War II, right? This was
Like,
like
you really want to
Yeah.
work with them though?
no. But I'm saying
That's
like
not I know what Pat's about to say. I agree with this point.
they wouldn't even pay more salary than like six. Like they're like we got offered $6,000, and they wouldn't even match it. And so it's like
Yeah.
from their standpoint, they still thought costs were too high in 2018 at $6,000 a month for a player. And so it's like if costs are still in that ballpark, then I think there's still a lot of orgs who are going to sit out at least for the initial like
This is
year one or
exactly
year two to
I
see what
thought-
happens.
This is exactly what I thought you were going to say because I agree. And then it brings up to the second point, which is like they don't necessarily come in and have access to top players and top teams.
Yeah,
Like,
which is always
Unless
the
twos
they're
and
downside.
threes.
pushing P, right, Ben?
Yeah, I mean they would have to. They would have,
But
they would have
that
Yeah.
goes back to my other
Pushing
point, Ben,
positivity for sure.
which is why I think it might benefit the league, whatever this league is, to go like basically drop all contracts. Because
I
it's
think
like,
that's the play too.
yeah,
I
they're
don't-
gonna,
I don't- I
that's
just
the
don't
only
think you
way to
can-
recruit more orgs. Like
I just
it's
don't
the
think
only
you can
way.
restrict the players to teams that might not even get into the league the next year with people that are professional players going into the league.
I just
I don't think
I'm-
that would ever fly in any sort
I'm-
of thing without no players union. No
Wait,
CBA.
where's the new league
Facts.
come from? Their new league?
Well, so
We're just saying if we
talking-
went to like an
It's just
ACS
like
model.
yeah.
It's just like
Oh, y'all
hypothetical.
are in the future.
we
Yeah,
are in the
pretty
future.
much. But I'm pretty
We're in
sure it's where it's
2024,
going. I'm
David.
pretty
It's
sure
dark times right now.
pretty sure it's where it's going, David. At this
Hey.
rate.
Here's what I would say, JP. One is I think to Pat's point, like, your guys' team, like Toronto, FaZe, let's say you guys all have good seasons, like those core players know they stick together, they're gonna be competitive next year. They're not just gonna eternally become shit. So like the players themselves will stick together, and we talk about those 3 orgs, like I just don't see the players leaving those teams. So whether or not there's restrictions or no restrictions, like those teams will still stay together and figure it out with the orgs. But the fringe situations like a Minnesota or like a Boston, will become a little bit complicated than this. Do I think some leagues will try and some of the teams will try and lobby to add some restrictions into it? I just don't know.
But like
from a legal standpoint, if they can pull it off.
Could you even do that? Is like okay, let's say let's say there's a London team and there's just super hypothetical London team. They're now restricting all their players they were playing
Holly's
or they were paying minimum salary to, right?
Damn,
Like, could
that's
you-
fucked up.
Could you just say, players 1 to 4, you just can't play because your organization is now restricting
No
you
shot. No
because
shot.
you had a contract in the CDL that is not even apparent anymore?
That's a very legal. See, that's the thing is like that's the legal argument. Like you could
But,
go,
but bro,
you could go to
here's-
court and say none of this process is
the,
like
the
fair
reality.
practice
The
whatsoever.
reality of how
Right?
this would work out
Yeah.
though is the player would just go sign the new agreement, and then
Yeah.
if the Royal Ravens really wanted to fight it, they would have to sue this new org or that player. And let's be honest, the Ravens aren't doing that. They're getting out of the space. The same thing
Yeah.
for LAG, Vegas. There's a lot of teams like those. None of those orgs are doing that. They're all just gonna be like, fuck it, like get me out of this fucking scene. Like they're already.
Or they
paying
let
the
you
minimum.
go, then they try finessing a buck after a little bit.
But
Well,
they,
listen, I think
and if they
Overwatch
try to
would be-
hold you, they would have to pay them the salary. Like they're already wanting to cut.
Oh
costs.
shit. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I'll say the big kind of key indicator is like
That's
Overwatch
playing
League
the
now.
trap cards.
Overwatch League now is going through sort of an interesting situation where there's no announced like partner league or anything like that. It's presumed to be some kind of open ecosystem. So a bunch of teams have released players, but some have kept like professional staff, and we'll see about like what kind of rights they keep. But that'll be an interesting situation.
That's
to monitor.
another thing. That's
'Cause I
another
just
thing,
don't-
Ben.
Yeah, go ahead.
Think about it this way. Think about the salaries in the CDL right now. Champs ends in July.
Yeah.
Let's just imagine this new League Y won't even get announced until the end of the year, maybe even January 2025. I don't see a world where they pay them if the league knows this is coming, right? If all these teams know this is coming, like what is the benefit to continue paying these insane salaries in a 7-month, maybe longer off season?
Well, so I'll give you one argument, which is if you are some of these orgs where said players are important to do sponsorship or partner deliverables, and you can't
There's
kick
like
the can
3
on-
of those though.
and you can't kick the can on those, and you might, and those players wouldn't do those obligations if they weren't under contract.
Right, but
You
like
might
I
have
said,
to then
there's
you might
there's
re-sign them
maybe
against,
3 of those
yeah.
players in
Well,
the
that's what-
entire league.
That's what I'm saying. There are a couple of edge situations, but I agree for the most part, teams are going to try and defer salary until like Q4 when they are obligated to pay it.
Wait, Ben, do you know what happened when CDWL turned into CDL? Like, could E United have kept Simp under contract if
Yeah,
they
you
had?
missed
I'm
it.
trying. I'm
you
trying
missed
to
it
find.
when
The,
I
I'm
gave
trying
you.
to find the blog
okay.
post. Give
No,
me
no,
one second to find it.
No,
guess-
I remember
Because isn't this the same exact situation, but in the
explained
reverse?
my
So it's like,
situation.
I gotta
Okay.
find the article from 2019.
Didn't they just lose
Envy-
them? Or am I
Envy
tweaking?
could have held me. Like
Oh,
if
they coulda?
Envy was in search of a buyout, right, for me. And if they didn't get it, they could have held me. But if they held me, they would have had to pay me the entire time, like
Wait,
until
did they
let
find
me
a
go.
buyout, Pat?
Well, nah, man. You know what you know how it works.
oh
so-
yeah, so they're either getting on a team or getting paid regardless.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
like
can't
that, and
do
that's
you
what I'm
can't, you
saying.
can't do both
If
for
the
sure.
org, what I'm saying is, if the org is trying to leave, like it doesn't make sense to them to like play hardball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why would they go and pay me however much my salary is for the entire next year for no reason? Like
Mhm.
you can try all you want to get a buyout, but it's like once that period ends, like you might as well just cut bait and be done with it.
Yeah. So what are you like sour grapes? You're just paying someone's contract? All right.
Yeah,
Who's it really losing here? You know?
I wouldn't have been able to play year one, but I would have got paid.
I found the rules. I'm gonna pull this up on stream for you guys. These were the original year 0 rules in the CDL that had to be abided by. So this explains the
Damn,
edge
Ben
buyout
was digging
situation.
for this.
Bro, I had to find this shit. It was like I knew it existed somewhere, but I just it
Damn, it's
basically outlines-
tiny.
Yeah, it's tiny because there's a lot of text. It explains how CWL teams had some exclusivity period, and like there's buyout caps, and there's a bunch of other stuff to prevent like.
But that was for the teams
CWL
that were
teams for how many
staying
people?
in, like the teams
Like, you could have
that
a
were
10-man
previously in
roster?
and staying in CDL.
Yeah,
Hey,
correct.
remember Toronto? did it?
Holy shit! Oh, you're right.
No, they had what did they have? They had Looney,
That whole
Nick,
team, yo.
Brack,
They had the whole
Metals,
scene, bro. Yeah.
Kleenex, Mayhem. 2 more people.
So,
Eh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'll put this in the chat if you want to read it. But this is what
Vance, they had
Pat's
Vance
talking
in
about.
there.
What happened?
Talking about some dirty contract shit.
Gizmo needed food. I need to feed him. And then also, I needed
Oh, they
some
got
mac
the
and
signed
cheese.
teams earlier.
So I had to put
Yeah,
that in the
you-
microwave.
You love your mac and cheese.
Yeah, I've been getting the Trader Joe's stuff because like ordering food's a lot of money, and I can't really cook when I'm streaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nor
Did,
do I even really cook anyway. But
Did
That's
all
why-
the Overwatch teams get to keep their branding?
So Adam Adamu did a
Probably.
long podcast, and he said that they own the intellectual property.
Yeah,
like the teams do.
they should be able to keep that, Pat.
So I don't know if that was original or if that was
Gotcha.
part of the amended
So-
agreement to, you know, what I mean, to move it over. So, that they
So
would be
if
free to do
the
so.
CDO ends, like we could still see the Toronto Ultra. They wouldn't have to go back to like their parent name or whatever.
Yeah, theoretically, if it's the same engagement in Overwatch League, yes. I don't know if we know
So,
100% back
so,
though.
so what is the state of the Overwatch League right now?
It's done. It's
It
dead.
doesn't
It's done.
exist.
Done.
It's done,
I don't
and
know,
we
but I
we
had a guy who
Damn.
played
It's
in
gone,
Overwatch
Asim. It's gone.
talk to me about that ping shit they do.
Yeah.
He said in Overwatch that shit was fucking awful.
What, line pinging?
No,
Whatever
no,
their cheese
artificial
shit with the
ping.
ping.
the artificial whatever.
Yeah,
oh
no,
yeah,
that
the
shit's
MLT
crazy.
shit.
Bro, because
Yeah.
you
The
had teams in
artificial
Asia
pig is
and
insane.
you had teams in Asia and teams in fucking Hawaii playing each other across the Pacific Ocean.
Well, that's why they
Like-
had to stop. Bro, they have to bring this shit to land. Everything, COD too. A lot of bro, we were doing this years ago when we were at the studio.
Okay,
there for
to
2
be
weeks at a time.
fair,
It has to be on land, bro.
I want to be fair to this conversation, Tom. They did this in the height of COVID where it was impossible to travel to some of the countries in Asia, and subsequently for the players traveling from Asia to the US, the quarantine periods and a bunch of other stuff was going to make this virtually impossible to do any kind of land
No,
competition.
I get
So
that.
they-
Wait,
I
they
100%
found- they
understand
found
the COVID
They found a
thing.
university in Hawaii that had a direct undersea cable to Asia,
Yeah.
and they figured out tech to like make it happen. It was
No,
like,
100%, but that's
crazy
the same thing with the
situation.
COD League, right? Like we got hit with COVID, and obviously it's a very serious thing. So they had to
Yeah.
make it online. There was nothing that we could have done. But now we're at a point now where we could be going back to land now. Like we are playing on land. We have majors, but all these online matches that we have should all be played on land. They should at a studio somewhere.
I'm gonna stick with what I've said in videos. This online league match shit
Okay.
needs to go. If we're doing online competitions, make it tournament style. That's what people want
Okay,
to
so
see. They
you're
don't want
agreeing
to
with me.
see.
You're agreeing with
They
me.
don't want to see random ass fucking online league matches in fucking
Okay,
May.
yo, I kind
Bro,
of
bro,
Wait,
Bro,
where's our
even
2Ks and
land.
5Ks, man?
Let
Even land.
Bro, no.
actually, though.
Where's our
Oh,
5Ks?
hold on, no. 2Ks and
I've been
5Ks
trying
were-
to bring
wait,
5Ks
no, no,
back.
no,
I've been trying to bring them back.
Think
They
bigger,
won't
think-
let me, JP.
think
They
bigger,
won't
think bigger.
let
You're not
me
thinking
do
bigger.
that stuff with full rosters.
You're not thinking big enough,
It's crazy.
bro. 2Ks and 5Ks
Why do you keep
were.
saying that, Ben?
Well, because let me explain why. Can I fucking explain myself? You don't cut me off.
Yeah, go ahead. I
Listen,
didn't even
listen,
fucking cut you off.
Wait, I love it. I bring up this ping every time.
Watch your
and it
fucking
just
mouth.
gets so good.
You
Listen,
cut me
so-
off before two. I didn't say nothing.
So the problem with 2Ks and 5Ks, I think it becomes some absolute host sport cheese, and that's how like you see a lot of upsets. What I really like is what Halo does, which is basically they're like, why don't we just do our LAN format online? We have
Wait,
online
we
open
have
bracket.
CDL servers. We don't.
No, I
it
know-
doesn't-
Yeah,
I
we
know,
don't have the
there's-
host fuck anymore.
yeah,
That's
we
what
don't
I'm
have to
saying.
host.
You can get the best of both words. You don't have to do with the host fuck.
Yo, Tom,
And-
click on what I put in
And you
chat.
can build an online event format where there's an open bracket going into a pro bracket. And we play a pro format with a group stage, so it's not a one and done online fugazi thing. You get a couple of matches, and it goes into a fucking knockout tournament.
What
Play
the
the same
hell's
format
that?
on LAN that you do online. It makes
Bro,
perfect sense. no?
Bro, I know Tom's
Yeah.
not here, but click what I put in chat, bro. Think about this. That is
real?
what they planned for the beginning of the CDL.
that was
Y'all
real?
remember? That's what
Wait,
they
yeah,
that
announced.
was real.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's what
Why?
they announced.
We were gonna go to Paris, play one match, and fly
really?
back.
And then
Bro,
fucking
yes.
just vibe in Paris.
Oh, Tom,
what game was
Tom,
that?
Tom, bring up
We
the
would've
link
been-
I
we
put
would've been
in the
customs
group chat.
for
Wait,
longer
wait,
than
wait,
that.
wait.
Paris
in
2019.
Seattle.
Tom, click the guy that I put in your TeamSpeak.
TeamSpeak?
Wait, no, it wasn't.
This
Yeah,
is
bro,
all. This is.
bro,
this is
they
what
I
I'm
never
saying.
went to
that was
Paris.
what they announced.
Yes,
But that
it
was
is.
what you were
Atlanta.
supposed
This
to
was
do.
the first
Wait,
version.
hold on.
Yeah.
Oh wait, maybe I didn't qualify.
To knock on Paris.
Wait,
the
did they
Paris-
have that? Did they
the
have
Paris-
those two events?
No, they did. They
Bro.
cut the Paris one.
The Paris
Oh.
venue was going to be a really nice fucking venue. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it's just super nice concert venue on the water that was like super cool. They ended up hosting a challengers event there.
Bro,
which
but
is
hold
great.
on. Slow,
Yeah, it
slow
could,
down.
it could be
But
the
the
nicest
schedule-
venue ever,
what
but if
were
I'm
they
playing
The
one
schedule was
match,
dumb though. The schedule was dumb though because
Bro,
basically you were
what
flying
were they
there
thinking?
one match 3-0.
I-
Imagine you
Pat-
get 3-0'd and you get to
Pat,
fly
because-
back.
because they're.
Bro, I was in LA. I was mind blown. They're like, you got one game on a Saturday in Paris. What?
Bro, you're flying across the.
And then you're
fucking
flying back
Atlantic
to New York
Ocean
next week.
to
I'm not
be
gonna
there
lie,
all week
bro.
for one match.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is what shocked me when the CDL happened. This instant
Wait,
shocked
this schedule's actually
I cannot
insane.
believe this was like on the
But-
even table.
Bro,
me. Dude, that's
wait,
what they were playing. You know how expensive that would have
Yeah,
been?
it's
Like,
insane.
Yeah.
The thing that blew my mind is
Where-
the
people,
owner.
people,
Bro,
I
they
hate
had
this
me
logic.
going to
People-
Paris twice and London twice.
People were really like, "Oh man, the CDL would have been so great without COVID." Y'all think this would have been great? This is what would have happened if COVID
Dude,
didn't happen.
Answer my chat.
The league
like-
would have been done after a year, bro.
Bro,
Everyone would have been bankrupt after year one.
Well, Nameless is in my chat. Like, he was supposed to fly to every event for the desk. Like, he would have been fucked. I think the thing is, so the owners, I'll tell the story, which is the owners very politely then had a conversation with league in like December before this shit even got off the ground. Of
Yeah,
like,
it was a whole
"Meh."
community outrage.
It,
when this
it wasn't. It
announced.
wasn't gonna be a thing. Here's what I was mind blown was is like as part of the pitch process and then like the onboarding, like in the summer, when people knew the format, like at no point people were questioning it. Then why did it take all the fucking fall for it to be all this momentum? then
Because,
finally make the
bro,
last minute change?
everyone who was initially involved had no idea about esports. No
Bro,
bullshit.
but they didn't do any P&L exercise. Like you were on the
Bro,
hook
they
for running
did
these fucking
nothing.
events.
Bro,
it was
the LA
expensive.
event, bro, the LA event, the one that Gorillas and Optic, they co-ran the event. That event lost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well,
hundreds
you want
of
to
thousands.
know what? You want to know why? Because you know what? You know what
There's
event
a why. No event
Pat,
that's
you wanna
losing
know why?
hundreds of thousands of dollars is a good idea.
Because I got
bro.
round.
No. I will. Listen. I will talk about this because, listen, I was the person leading on the esports end side, like the project management of all of this. They picked in a very expensive venue
I
with-
know, Ben.
because of the ownership and the like ticketing group that they were involved with and the venue group. They picked a very expensive.
Wait, that was an
venue.
expensive venue? That was
Yes,
the one with
because-
the bars on the windows.
Yes,
You guys
it's
remember
not,
that?
It's not a.
What,
it's
what event were we talking about?
the
You're
Shrine
talking
Expo
LA,
Center.
Bro, wait, there was bars on the
Which one?
windows.
The
of the
Shrine Expo
practice
Center,
room.
It's an old building, but it's like
It
a
was
fully.
the one next to USC.
Yeah, it's a fully union building. so,
Remember
like-
we were in
like, totally
Canada in the
expensive.
basement? No, that was before CDL.
No, that was CW. That was fucking. That was in fucking Montreal.
Yeah, I was in Montreal. I remember that.
But they picked a very expensive venue. LA's a very expensive labor market. There wasn't a lot of wiggle room on those deals. The problem with all esports shows in general is that they're one-off shows. So like,
But
from
think
what
about
they're-
it too, Ben. They
Yeah.
split the cost. Optic Gaming LA and LAG split the cost, and they both ended up losing a ton of
Yeah, no,
money.
the budget for that event was crazy. As
Can't
someone
believe
that's
we went
seen
to
the
that
P&L,
event.
I can tell you that event was not cheap.
I can't believe we went to that event in a state of emergency during COVID.
Yeah, I
Bro,
know,
I'm
because
actually
COVID got
mind-
announced on our way back from London.
I
That's
still
when, like,
remember
COVID
getting
got
done with
Bro.
a third set in the Minnesota facility, and they were like, "Yo, we're having a league
There-
call," and like
Dude,
something.
yeah, there wasn't a league vote on like whether we would
yeah,
play.
they wanted to go. Yeah.
But we definitely all got
Dude.
COVID at Minnesota that year.
So
Like,
I'll
that
tell
shit
yeah,
this,
was-
most
the
def.
story from my perspective is like we had a bunch of people from work fly to Paris for the Challengers event like the week before, and like that was when COVID was starting to get really bad in Europe. Like I don't know if you guys heard about this, but for that Paris Challengers event, they were like they net to know all the nationalities of all the players and teams traveling into that event. And if they were from certain countries, they were not permitted to enter the country. France was on like basically a quasi lockdown at that point, and coming back, I know a bunch of people got sick, challengers, players, and other stuff. So going to that Los Angeles event, I was super surprised that happened. We were so ready to just absolutely not get on a plane and not run that event that week. Like everything was already kind of shutting down. You know what I mean? People already canceling events, shit like that.
For online matches, how they are now, people should be at a studio for 2 weeks at a time. You play all your matches there, and then we should have majors at different spots, like different locations. Like
I just
one
think they
overseas,
should
one in
cut
Saudi
matches, bro.
Arabia,
They just
one
need
in
to cut
fucking-
league
I'm
matches.
telling
one
you,
in
league
Germany,
matches
one
are
in
not.
fucking.
Bro, we don't need league matches. Fuck league matches, bro. Fuck
Everywhere.
like minimum broadcast hours. Fuck all that shit, bro.
Well, you don't
The-
need that outside of the CDL.
Bro,
That's the
I'm,
thing.
I'm telling you, all we need is as many events as possible. And if we need online matches for seeding, you run the event format online. It is not complicated. Don't have a 12-month season and 4 events where there's 5 months gaps. That's going to be terrible. Do as many events as you can physically afford in an Apex moment at the end with online activity proceeding as much as we need, but as minimal as possible. You'll have the best fucking league structure of all time if you run that shit. It's not complicated.
Dude, they weren't gonna end the game. They were gonna wait out the
Fucking
UAV.
mic drop.
They were smart.
I still don't understand how we got having that
This
guy, bro. All crowdfunding, bro. That to me, like, crowdfunding would be the one thing that would really help post CDL.
No
COD.
way you said that, bro.
What side were we? We were defense.
No, Ben is hilarious.
Need like a one golf type thing, you know? Or live golf, live golf.
Live golf. I mean, but that's the point though. With ESL Face It now being backed by Saudi Arabia, like you might have, you know what I mean? This is the thing that I don't know. I have no knowledge.
Yeah,
of
yo,
this.
I might have to come back, bro. They might
It's
be
like,
throwing bags.
I don't know.
Saudi
I don't-
Arabian money game.
I'll
I
be
don't
the
know-
Phil
I don't know what-
Mickelson, you know?
I
Like,
don't know what Savvy's going to do as far as their investment back into esports because obviously all the private equity money that existed now is kind of just not there in esports. Like,
Wait, what?
But like, how
We'll
how
see.
invested do you think they really are? Because wasn't it rumored that they could have
right back.
bought out a CDL team?
I don't know if that's listen. We talked to this last year, the like Falcons thing. I don't know if that was very much how real that was. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, like, ESL Face It's a big group. Like, Call of Duty
Yeah.
is a very small percentage of that. Like, even if it like they ran the League Y thing, like I still don't think they're.
Michael, thank you for the prompts. I appreciate it.
I still don't think Call of Duty is a big focus
Pat,
at all.
But like to the PIF, it's a multi-$100 billion fund. What is $10 million to them?
X base, thank you for the.
I mean, it would cost more than 10 million, but
But I'm saying hypothetically, like even someone this one, you know where John Rahm just got that $600 million check for Live? John Rahm getting that check is like the equivalent of the PIF buying him a cup of coffee to them. Like the leagues of magnitude of the public investment fund that they have is like actually fucking insane. It's not like they have only 2 billion, 5 billion fund here. This is a $100 billion fund of money that they want to spend over the course of the next 20 to 30 years to diversify their economy. Now we can sit here and we can talk about sports washing and all the stuff that happens in Saudi Arabia. It's a very complex conversation. At some point, I think we'll have it. But that's why the big question is, I don't know what investment they're going to want to bring in to then cover the maybe reduction of some costs on the publisher side.
There you go.
Or three. All right, let's go.
You see where I'm going with that?
yeah, I just think we
Yeah,
all
yeah.
can agree that 2024, these CDL orgs are getting a
see what
check
happens.
to dissolve this absolute mistake that they made 4 years ago.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty done. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I've been talking Call of Duty since 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of hours talking COD, huh, boys?